Alright, so for
Hi, this is Adam, Project Geospatial, and I'm here with John Goolgasian at the OGSystems. OGSystems, that's right. He's going to showcase BlueGlass and talk about the BlueGlass product. Go for it. Introduce yourself, tell me what the product is.
Yeah, so I'm John. So we're building, so about last July, we started an idea for an analytics as a platform, or an analytics service platform. We call BlueGlass. And so probably, we did a little bit of planning, things like that. So really what you're seeing is really just been started over the past 8 years.
Okay.
So it's new. So we're really excited about the progress we've made on it. And we've released it out to public consumption or client base in January. And we're actively moving it out into market now. So what we've done is brought together data from a number of different platforms. So we have brought in space imaging through partnerships with Planet, with EarthEye, with we're bringing in social media, we're bringing in news media, we're bringing in RF signals, we're bringing in IoT devices, and not just bringing a platform that is just a bunch of data, but we're tying it together with artificial intelligence and machine learning to do automated reporting and automated forecasting of rare events.
Okay, that's great. So what do we got here on the screen?
All right, so right here on the screen is actually the platform, and this is our dashboard. So we look at things by city. So if you're just interested in a single city, like DC, or an entire country like Nigeria, or we can even go across to the entire world. So we have a world view as well, so we can bring up the entire world and look at activities that happen across the entire world. So what you're seeing here is a country threat assessment that we update on a routine basis. So we can look at areas like if you have activities you're spotted in Spain, we put together a complete report with an integration piece of terrorism, of crime, of natural disasters to see what's happening in those areas.
Quick question. So I noticed these are different scores for these. How do you derive those?
So that's through a partner that we have.
Okay.
One of our client partners who is actually purchased the system as well, and then we moved the information back and forth with that. This is a complete country report. So it's Garda,
okay.
Garda World, and the subsidiary of Garda that's called Crisis 24. So we bring in things also like what's current threats around the world, so current breaking news, and what that means in certain areas. So let's look at Russia. So you look at things like what is warning what's happening around the world. So in this case, it was from earlier in May of a air traffic disruption in Moscow, across Russia. But so primarily users want to dive down into the content and see what's happening across there. So let's look at how we've integrated imagery at first. So normally across an area, this is United Arab Emirates, and this is the normal view that you would see in Google Earth or a normal web mapping service. But that's why we talk to customers about it's not just good enough to use some of the open available stuff on the internet. You have to really integrate current activities there. We're still doing things. This is one of our partners, Imaging EarthEye.
What's the resolution?
It's sub-meter. It's about a meter or so.
Okay.
And this is a... So right now we're...
Yeah, a bit of a connection there. There we go.
So it's the construction of a nuclear power plant that's going on actively inside of UAE. So we've actually been monitoring this location for a client and watching the progression of the building of this nuclear power plant along the way.
Now talk to me about the imagery here. Like, does this come in as events come in? Are you just looking at archive orders here, or can you task imagery as well with events coming in?
Yeah, so we actually, let's look at it across, let's go out to a different area. Let's look at it across Africa, that's a great example. So we set up a monitoring area for the Horn of Africa.
Hey, John, let's come on to this side here so we can get a perspective of the camera. There we go.
So, Horn of Africa, and so for the last month, you see that from Planet, we brought in a full array of 24,610 images.
Wow.
That just bring in the footprints of all of those. We can display all those up, and then you can look at every image that's on there. So let me zoom down into a small area, so I'm not pulling in 24,000 images. And let's go to Mogadishu. You see as we move down in, we're gonna bring that down smaller and smaller and smaller. And then we'll be able to look at all the footprints. And be able to view all those images as they come in as well. So we have the complete view, so you can see we're bringing in imagery from today.
Okay, excellent.
Let me go over to Libya and show you something else. So we're doing some work. We have a client who is actually working with the system in Tripoli today.
Okay.
And we're bringing in a lot of different content for them. So what I want to show you here is some of the work we're doing with auto detection for imagery. So we're not just bringing in imagery, we're actually doing object detection and change detection.
Oh wow, okay, this is as the imagery is coming in?
On certain, not every image, but on certain things we're doing that with. So looking at the port of Tripoli, what we can do is show each of these are a detection of a ship in the port based on radar imagery. So radar comes in, our partner has AI that identifies the image of the ship. So we can see that there's a ship, how long it is, the width of it, the orientation, when it was brought in there. And we can put on the imagery for that area. Pull in some of the latest image from there, but we go more than that. So AIS, so the beacons for the ships. So we bring that information as well. This is an example of, in this time frame, 163 ships that are coming in and out of the port. And we did it by flag of the country, or flag of the ships.
Okay.
So that's interesting, but what's really cool is we're automating reporting. So what I've done is sent all those ships, all those flags of those ships out to some AI that we have integrated in, and we just wrote a time series analysis of all the ships coming in and out of port, showing the trends and patterns of those ships and saying which ones are the highest, which countries are the highest reoccurrence inside the port as well.
Oh no, that's awesome. So you make connections to all these different data sets, AIS, the imagery piece. Going back to the events for a second there, you mentioned news and social media. Can you talk about where the news and social media comes from? What types of news and social media you have?
So right now, from a social media standpoint, let's go somewhere where we probably have a little bit more. How about we look at San Antonio, where we are today. So we are bringing in Twitter into the system, and over the next few months, we're going to be adding support for about 10 different social media feeds. Things like Flickr and actually foreign ones as well, like BK and Sino Weibo. So we're not just looking at the traditional US-based social media, we're going to have really a worldwide social media. So we can see now who's tweeting about what's going on at GEOINT. So we can look out at the different things that are happening in and around the convention center as we're talking here as well. Whether it's geocoded or just not. From a news media, we'll go back to Somalia.
How do you know it's related to the convention center? Sorry, how do you know it's related to the convention center if it's not geocoded?
So actually we've put in some keywords to look for as well. So any reference to GEOINT 2017, and we're pulling that in.
That makes total sense.
So think about this from a foreign, from a use of defense intelligence use. We can monitor things like ISIS. What's being people are talking about those things. Let's go on to Somalia to look at the news media as well. So we do have support for straight RSS, so you can add any RSS feed, a real simple syndication service, and bring in any news or any media that's being syndicated through the web.
Okay.
We also have direct connects into things like GDELT, so we're pulling in the entire GDELT stack, and things like conflict information. So I'll give you a better view of that. So we have I'm looking at a couple of weeks worth of information and about 1,500 news reports from Somalia. And we break those out into destabilizing activities and stabilizing activities so that you get a better understanding of what's happening in these areas and the ability to zoom down into these areas of interest.
A lot of stuff there.
And then pull out the full text of the article.
Can you scroll down there? Can you see what you got there? Pulling out keywords, you're pulling out
we're pulling out keywords, we're pulling out summaries, the report, the entire report, and then the ability to actually link over to the full report as well.
Okay, so, that's great, okay. So, I think we'll touch on some last questions here around the topic. So, where's this all running, infrastructure-wise?
So it's all built on Amazon and Amazon Web Services. We built in a serverless environment, so we're using Lambda, so it's fast, it's scalable. We're using Elastic inside of it, so quick search and quick review of the information.
So what's your what do people pull out of this system? Is it different feeds they can pull out, RSS feeds, email alerts, that type of thing?
Great, yeah. So all the data I showed you is also alertable, so everything can be sent to you as a text or an email, so things reach certain threshold values, and you're interested in those areas over a certain area, then it can alert you that something's happening. We're doing automated reporting piece as well, and the goals that we're in now is not again just to make that data as a big platform, but to do predictive analytics from it, forecasting. So currently we're doing some crime pattern analysis and then doing forecasting of crime. So this is Chicago and showing the potential for crime across the city. We do this on an hourly basis, and we're going to set and update these models. Moving that into beyond just crime and domestic things, but looking at foreign areas, like looking at the attacks by Boko Haram in Nigeria and doing a forecasting of potential for Boko Haram attacks across the country.
Okay.
Protests, things like that.
Is there anything else, key points that you want to go over? Final notes about the product before we
keep adding to it every day. We're here looking for new partners as well, and we are, and obviously we're bringing it to market both in the commercial side and in the defense intelligence side.
Great. Well, thank you very much for your time. What a great product.
Thanks, Adam.
And this is Adam Simmons from Product Geospatial signing off.